Look at you. So cute. How big is he gonna get?
That depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On how much you love him.
Ah, that explains why you're so small. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris, and for anyone that needs to hear it, obviously I was joking with that intro. If anything, Noah is one of my favorite out of my 4 dogs. That's right, your boy Chris has 4 dogs, and I also agree with you. That is too many dogs, and I am crazy for that, but I love me the puppies. But putting that aside, I did just get done watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, and with this live action interpretation, it centers around the character of Emily, who's in desperate need of a friend, finding it in a little red dog that eventually grows up to be a gigantic problem, one that catches the attention of a genetics company. That's all pretty much said without giving me spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review, like there could ever be any major spoilers in a Clifford movie, but just in case. And before diving into my full thoughts, I do want to go ahead and thank the sponsor of today's review, and that is Cinemark Theaters. You guys have heard me talk to death about Cinemark here on this channel, but I just still can't believe my childhood favorite theaters are actually sponsoring my channel. And with Clifford the Big Red Dog being released this Wednesday, actually. And well, if you're someone who's been curious to check out Clifford the Big Red Dog, I recommend you do it at a Cinemark theater for the best popcorn, the nice luxury seating, and all up to date with cleaning protocols. I'll leave a link in the description or my pinned comment so you can check out showtimes around you. But like I was saying, being a dog owner of 4, I'm always a sucker for a good dog movie. My fear is always that I'm gonna end up leaving the theater in tears just because that's what happens when you own a puppy. But then after seeing what they were wanting to do with Clifford the Big Red Dog and how they've turned it into this big CGI red blood monster, I was like, there's no way I could end up leaving crying the theater, right? Right? Diving into some of the positives about this movie, look, I'll just be honest with you, it's a perfectly fine family movie. I think Clifford the Big Red Dog is exactly what you expect it to be, nothing more, and definitely not nothing less. I thought the all-around cast did perfectly fine in their job, especially the main lead, Emily, played by Darby Camp. There are moments in the film we have to sympathize with her character because she's being bullied in school and feels a bit of an outsider, leading her towards Clifford. And for a young actress, she was able to pull off those emotional moments, and even so, some comedic ones when she was given the opportunity. I think a standout will be Isaac Wong, who played Owen in the movie, the little friend of Emily. I think by far he was the funniest and most adorable character on screen. I also even like the route the story took, with it being a bit different than you would expect, because you would think a movie like Clifford the Big Red Dog would just be nothing but a series of situations where having a huge dog is a big problem. And while the movie definitely does do that and skips around to just random events, the idea that there was a genetics company out there that saw Clifford on the news and then envisioned they can make big money off of him and decided to want to go after him, I thought was a unique and different take for Clifford that I was on board with. I think some people, after they saw the Clifford design and some of the looks of the movie, that this would be an absolute train wreck, and I'm here to say it really was not. Like, it's as average and as good as it can possibly be. Like, no doubt, the kids who go to see this movie are gonna love it a lot, and the parents that are dragged along with them are gonna have an entertaining enough time. But Clifford the Big Red Dog just never really passes that boundary of being something really special or even heartwarming to the fact that you will be crying. And like I said, that's coming from somebody who cries very easily at dog movies when anything sensitive happens. And I just never found myself getting to that point, and I think a lot of that did have to do with the CGI in the movie. While for the most part, the CGI on Clifford the Big Red Dog is okay, especially when it comes to the up-close shots. A lot of the times when Clifford is moving out and about, it does start looking a little wonky, and I think that's what created the distance for me, where I'm like, I just can't trick my brain to think that's a real dog that I'm watching right now, and I couldn't fully connect with Clifford in that way. Even more crazy when later shots in the movie, you have actual humans getting on top of Clifford and riding him out and about, and they fully look like PlayStation 2 characters. It'll get you laughing and kind of take you out of the moment. So the CGI is very hit or miss in some scenes. Also left the theater kind of wanting a little bit more of Clifford. I don't know if it was expensive to have that big CGI dog around, but it felt like they weren't showing off Clifford as much as they could throughout the movie. I understand that Emily is the main character, but I feel like everyone who's gonna go check out this movie is there for Clifford, and I do think by the end of it, you're left wanting a little bit more of this dog, and like, I don't think I saw enough shenanigans going about with him. I also believe that the uncle character played by Jack Whitehall, who is Casey, is gonna be hit or miss for some people. While I didn't mind him and I did find his jokes a bit funny, he's definitely a character that is not gonna be for everybody. He sort of plays this deadbeat uncle who even left his niece at the subway station once and is trying to get his life together but is just constantly joking. I bet it sounded super adorable on paper, but I don't think it always translated well on screen. Like I said, it was not the train train wreck some people were expecting it to be. I don't think this was a garbage movie at all. It was a super cute, family-friendly movie that I would definitely show off to some of my younger relatives. But if you're an adult who likes watching the occasional kid movie for the punch-in-the-gut feelings or the elevated storytelling that they do with kid characters, you're not really gonna find it here. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, this was a kid's movie, and I think it accomplished exactly that, being a good little movie for kids. So with Clifford the Big Red Dog, I'm gonna give action 2.5 stars. Like I mentioned, there are shenanigans that go about with Clifford, but by the end of the movie, you are left wanting a little bit more of Clifford, and like you didn't see enough. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's nothing like lowbrow humor that would make a bunch of 3rd graders laugh at like a fart joke. It's more like grandma humor, where it's just very innocent and pleasant that maybe gets you chuckling, but you're never really gonna have your gut aching from laughing. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2.5 stars. While I did think it was a unique take to have a genetics company go after Clifford, I just never fully got to connect with the characters, and a lot of that had to do with the wonky CGI and more sillier moments. Horror in the movie, I'll give it 0.5 star if you're someone who would be deathly afraid of a giant red dog, which I'm sure there's some people out there. And suspense in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Like I said, it's a kid family friendly movie. If you can't predict how it's gonna end, well, I don't know what to tell you. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a C+, and critically, I'm going to give it a C+. For Clifford the Big Red Dog, while it might be one of the most average movies to come out, it's still a good movie, and that deserves to be watched in theaters. Look, at the end of the day, most people are just going to be surprised this wasn't a total train wreck. It was just an average little fun movie. Let me know if you guys are going to go ahead and check out Clifford the Big Red Dog. Are you someone who has already seen it? Did you end up loving it? Did you end up hating it? Always love to hear from both sides, but don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3CFilms or on TikTok at 3CFilms. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care. Oh, that explains why you're so small. Oh, my son.